If you think that all those impossible science fictions they show in the Hollywood movies, they do not translate into reality in our daily lives, you are probably mistaken. If you have seen this movie 2001 A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, you know how HAL, the heuristically algorithmically programmed computer, it turns rogue, and it actually turns a murderer. So something similar happened 3 years back when Facebook's chatbots started interacting in a language which the program developers failed to understand, and Facebook had to abandon its app operations because the bots started chatting in their own language. So this was leading to another such rogue situation. Now, why I'm mentioning this point here is that in future, artificial intelligence is definitely going to take over. Now we are not at that stage. I mean, the plane has taken off. Now you cannot try to land it. It will crash. So now we are not in that position where we can roll back the things and say, hey, we don't want to do business with artificial intelligence anymore. No. So artificial intelligence is definitely the future. Now, the important thing here is what I am mentioning here is before this artificial becomes natural, we have to ensure that the initial few days, initial few years, we give the artificial intelligence the right onboarding, not just in terms of machine coding. I'm not talking about the mechanical aspect of it. I'm talking about the emotional and creative aspect of onboarding. Yes, before this, automated auto ML and all these things we are talking about. So just like there is a concept of, if you have studied machine learning, supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. I am saying in the initial few years, human beings have to give supervised onboarding to artificial intelligence and machines before they start to completely take over and do things all by themselves with automation. Because unless that happens, this rogue-like situation which Facebook had to encounter, we could see such horrible cases. Something similar to what I'm saying about 2001 A Space Odyssey. If you have seen the movie, you know what happened. So this is going to be very important. And what can we do here to ensure that this transition, this transfer of power is smooth and not disruptive to the extent that it doesn't boomerangs on us, it doesn't harm us. So one, before you train or teach others, you have to be prepared yourself. So unless we have these two things in ourselves, we cannot pass this on to the other person who we are teaching. One is creativity and other is inclusiveness. You can call it sensitivity, you can give it n names, but basically I'm talking about inclusiveness, because unless we are inclusive in our own mind and approach, we will be passing on our own judgments and biases to the computer. And computers, basically machines, basically they are called dumb terminals. Unless you give them the input, unless you give them the algorithm, they are dumb terminals. So before they become the intelligent terminals, we are talking too far these days, machine learning to machine intelligence to machine consciousness. No, we are talking going too far. I'm saying before that situation happens, do you have human consciousness properly defined and set as a pattern in your mind? Are you inclusive enough? This is like saying, is the teacher prepared to teach the student before they take over? This is one important area which probably we are ignoring, and this could boomerang on us in future. So this is very important, because if human beings are not prepared, they will pass on all the gender biases, all the sectorial beliefs, all these biases and opinions and ideologies which they keep fighting on, maybe countries, religions, so many things that the human beings keep fighting on. They will pass on the same bias to to artificial intelligence, and that is like an accelerator. Once that happens, it will become very hard to contain the problem, because human beings work mechanically. That AI robot is going to work in acceleration mode. It's going to be super scary. So and it's not possible to roll them back, because once you have pressed the accelerator and you don't have control on your on the pedal, it's very scary situation. This is why I'm saying human beings have to prepare themselves before they give artificial intelligence a complete takeover. So in the initial few years, and the process has already started, so each one of us who are employing this AI, IoT and all this, call this by any names. Basically this is saying more towards automation, less towards mechanical works. So basically it's the same thing. So before you write algorithms, you have to be prepared in your head. What is there in your head? So this is why I think a creative human being and an inclusive human being is very essential to lead to a future world where artificial intelligence starts taking over and eventually makes the world a better place. If we do not do that, if we do not have that inclusiveness in us, if you do not have the feelings of creativity and love in us, this artificial intelligence can be as destructive as atom bomb showed in 20th century. It was you create it for like potential to solve all your problems related to electricity and a lot of other things. But when that goes into destructive mode, then you use the same atom bomb to drop on innocent civilians. So this is very important, and I think we all have a collective duty, every human being on workplaces, wherever we are, someone is writing algorithms, someone is testing it across the different stages of this software development life cycle. Each one of us have got a responsibility, collective responsibility for future, to save the future of mankind. We have to be very prepared, and we have to guard ourselves that this does not go in a direction where we do not want them to go. So let's become more inclusive, let's become clear in our heads, let's become more creative, and let's get the blueprint of the direction where this AI wants to go in our own head, and then execute it. You have a blueprint. If you have a blueprint in your mind, and then if you design the buildings, then the final structure is something you look at it with beauty and awe. But if you do not have a blueprint in your own mind, and you just go on just haywire, just picking and throwing bricks like that, no, that's going to be a chaos. So this is something I want everyone in this world to think about.